Hello, this is Lewis Michael.
And this is Gabrielle Christensen, your co-host.
And welcome to the podcast. Two, three.
Hello and welcome back. This is your co-host Gabrielle Christensen.
And I'm Lewis Michael.
This is another Geeking Around Lite.
Yeah.
This time we're covering the newly announced Nintendo Switch OLED model. OLED. Coming out October 8th, 2021.
Along with Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
Dread. So, yeah. Gonna be $350. Sheesh. Because that little extra is because of the OLED and some other stuff like the...
Larger, it does have larger memory, 64 gigabytes.
Yeah, 64. Yeah, Nintendo announced this and kind of snuck it in, and seemed like a lot of people not too happy about it, for the most part. But,
I guess my thoughts are, this might be they might be doing what the other game companies do, where they're like, here's the PS4, and then they're like, here's the PS4 extra extreme version. Go fuck your mom. Sorry, Mom. Anyway, they might do this with this. They'll be like, here's Nintendo Switch OLED. Here's Nintendo Switch OLED extra. Awesome. Which would be otherwise your Pro.
I don't know what they do on this one, to be honest. Like I was telling you before we was doing this podcast, like someone was saying that, like, oh, this is for people who hasn't bought, the Nintendo Switch yet. But it was like, well, we was all in a pandemic, stuck at home all day, and we all got $1,000 stimulus check. Could have went out and got a goddamn Nintendo Switch then, because everyone else was doing it. So I mean, it's I don't know. I feel like this is more of just a money grab. Like, one of the guys that used to work there at the printing company, Greg, he a total Nintendo fanboy, and anything that Nintendo put out, he bought it, didn't open it, just stuck it in the closet, and there you go. I mean, they got... Nintendo got $300 from him. I know, like, he did mention... with the Nintendo Switch, he actually gonna play it and stuff, or at least buy two of them, have one stuck in his closet and the other one he plays. I'm like, that's still cheaper than the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't see this. I mean, they're still selling, as you can see up here, the normal Nintendo Switch, and which is only, like, the price was $350, and I think the Nintendo is only $300. Did I miss it?
Nah, I think you just keep scrolling down.
Right. Oh yeah, right. You can barely see it. $300. So, like, I say just take this out, and I don't know. Like I said, I think people who was gonna buy a Nintendo Switch would probably already had bought one already. If it's like, oh well, what about the people that want to buy a cheap Nintendo Switch? Well, you got Nintendo Switch Lite for only $200. I mean, you're not. I like I said, if you already got one, you're not gaining hardly anything with this one. And if you don't have one, well,
I guess, are they really banking hard on Metroid players? Is that their thing? I mean, that's their whole reasoning, is they're like, Metroid will get everyone back in, and they might as well have the OLED screen. Yeah,
I just don't know. I kind of think back to, like, what Apple did with the iMac Pro. Is like, it's supposed to be for the professional ones, and because Mac Pros users was getting really pissed off because it's almost 10 years since the last Mac Pro came out, and the last Mac Pro that came out was shit. And it was one of those things that where Apple thought they knew better than what everyone else did. So they're like, oh, this is the future, and ended up not being the fucking future. See, they thought that having two small graphic cards would be the future, would end up being with just one big ass graphics card. So like even like right now, like if you want to update it, your Mac Pro, you can't do it because they don't come with two small graphics card. So I feel like they, like, I don't know, like we have reported in our podcast before that the Nintendo Switch was pretty spec wise pretty low compared to even the low end Xbox and PlayStation's stuff. And so I think this was kind of like them come up with a fast, quick thing and put it in a box and like, all right, buy this, and send it out to stores and like, all right, buy this.
Maybe it really was because Metroid was coming out and they're like, well, we have this that's halfway in development for the Pro version, but we can go ahead and just package it out with Metroid because it's going to be fully ready and Metroid won't. Although I don't know how that'd work in production-wise, because that would be like a whole, year or two of production you'd have to pre-plan to start making these and manufacturing them in mass. That doesn't make much sense, but that's what I'm going to go with anyway.
Yeah. And plus it goes with the white, colors of this, and it looks a lot more sleek on stuff. So it kind of goes with that Metroid, like that villain that we saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like it reminds me of that and stuff, and so, but still waiting on a Super Nintendo Switch Pro. But it does come with a 7-inch OLED screen, which give you bright colors and crisp contrast. And it's a lot bigger than the Nintendo Switch, because the regular Nintendo Switch is only 6 inches, and so you got a whole nother inch there, so that's always good. High adjustable stand, which like the last one was just a small little thing that pops out, and it was pretty crappy. So that's good, but I don't know how many people actually do the tabletop stand mode or whatever they call it, but because I really see people holding it, handheld or docked into a TV. So I don't know if that's really a big deal or not. So now I got a built-in LAN port. That's cool, but Nintendo's online things, I always hold really bad things. So maybe that will help.
Maybe.
You get more storage, 64 gigabytes of internal storage.
Though, what's interesting is I see on the other Nintendo Switch it says it's got 32 gigabytes of internal storage, but that you can buy a card and slip it in and get up to 2 terabytes, blah, blah, blah. I don't see them advertising that anymore, so I wonder if they just give you the internal storage now and they took it away. It's kind of like Samsung. Yeah,
now that you mention it, I don't think that it does say that. Do you have pictures from all sides? I don't think it shows though. What's that? Oh, that's a game. No, the game card is where you stick the storage at, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you should be able to.
Cool. They just for some reason aren't saying that anymore on their specs. I guess they figure.
I doubt people really even do that. I never even seen anyone ever do that. But one thing about the 64 gigabytes of storage is games don't really take up that much space. I mean, I got a couple. I mean, I don't have many games on my Nintendo Switch, but I have a few, and I only got the 32 gigabytes original Switch, and I haven't had it takes up nothing. So I don't know, but I mean, having more storage is always going to be good, no matter what. Enhanced audio, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Nintendo Switch had bad onboard speakers, but it's always better to have better speakers. I would just prefer using headphones, really.
Most of the time when you're playing something in handheld mode, you don't necessarily want your volume on.
Yeah. 3 models. Now you got the TV one. You got the tabletop mode, like I was saying that I never really see anyone really do. And then you got the handheld mode. Yeah. And I hope they fix the Joy-Cons, because like there was a lot of reports of the joysticks getting stuck and then it drifts.
Yeah.
And yeah. Which it not happened to mine, but
Hasn't to me either, but that'd be horrible.
I'm just one person, so
Apparently there's an HD HD Rumble.
yeah, that was in the original.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the new stuff. It does look like the dock. I guess does look a lot slicker and more rounded. Because if I'm looking at mine, it looks more squared. But as far away as on the other side of the room.
It's also shorter.
Is it shorter? Yeah. So you just paying for that slightly bigger, slightly better screen, I guess, and
Audio and storage, but
yeah. But that's not what we wanted. Nintendo. We wanted a Super Nintendo Pro, or whatever you all gonna call it. See, like, I should Photoshop, and I think I said this in the podcast where we talked about Nintendo Switch Pro. Is like, it should be just this, a console, not where you can take it apart and do handheld crap. No, just a console. Maybe we just like, if I cut that off and make it a little bit taller, so we can remove that, and then you can put in much more powerful internals and more powerful, CPU, graphics card, and we can get more powerful and games and stuff, more AAA games, and not be so games, like Skyrim or The Witcher 3, where it had been heavily optimized to work on the Switch.
right.
So, but yep, October 8th, 2021. Get with the Metro Dread.
I mean, it's really all to say about it.
Yep. Well, make sure to like and subscribe and check out the links, and
We'll see you guys around next time.
see ya.